Had a speech, but I'm a person who's really energetic, and now that I can't really move around, I would rather do this, so please be patient with me. Now, hello guys, like Luana said, I will be talking about procrastination, and to be honest, I just procrastinated speech like the morning. Now, all jokes aside, I have procrastinated many times in my life, and probably you too, and this is why I'm here today. I'm here to tell you, mates, we gotta stop procrastinating. So, hello again, my name is Naz. I'm an IBDP student right here in Antalya, but most importantly, I used to be a professional procrastinator. Now, I will be talking about procrastination, that is for sure, but I will be also talking about two more things that are tightly connected to procrastination. It is motivation and burnout. Please, don't worry, you don't actually burn in burnout. Now, I've been babbling about this procrastination thing this whole time, but what exactly is it? Let me tell you the definition of it. Now, procrastination is the act of delaying something that must be done, often because it's unpleasant or boring. Now, what does this mean? And now, procrastination, like most of you think, is not just a thing. It is actually a long cycle. It all starts with a task. Now, let's imagine this. This is one of my biggest problems. I take physics high level in physics, which is really hard and one of the most difficult courses in IB, and I have a homework that I should do. Now, this is the first step, a task, and it is a really challenging task, which is the second step, having unpleasant things. Now, because this is unpleasant, my body feels uncomfortable and stressed. And this is actually the third step. I try to look for a way to escape, saying things like, well, I can't do this, I can't do that. I'm not built for physics, which really gives us to make room for excuses and get away from this task. And after some time, I talked myself up to it to do my physics test or homework, whatever. And suddenly, I am a Michelin chef. I am cooking things that nobody has seen before, or I just have this sudden motivation to start sports again. And this is actually the fifth step, procrastination activities, where you basically do everything besides your main task. Now, this might seem good. This might give you some sort of satisfaction because you did a good meal or you just made a sport, but this brings us to the last step, which is long-term negative consequences. Yes, you did some good things, but in the end, you didn't do your homework. My teacher got mad at me, and especially some of my friends know, Paiman teacher is known for his discipline. Now, I've been talking about this whole thing, but why does it happen, Naz? I mean, we all know about procrastination, but how does it happen? Let me tell you, and you might be shocked, but you don't actually want to procrastinate. You never want to procrastinate, but there's this thing called limbic system in your brain, and another thing called prefrontal cortex. Now, these are the emotional center and the task manager in your brain. Now, when you want to make a decision, in my case, for example, doing my physics homework, these two parts of my brain get into a fight. And as a side note, your limbic system is one of the most dominant and developed areas of your brain. So when they fight, obviously, the limbic system wins. And on another side note, limbic system is where your instincts happen. So what happens is when your when your limbic system wins, it moves on instinct. So instead of doing things that you should actually do, your limbic system is like, I need happiness now. I need a satisfaction now. So you do things that will give you a reward or a good feeling at that instance. Now, I've been talking all about this, but the most important thing is, Naz, how do I overcome this? Let me tell you, you should eat a live frog. Now, don't take me seriously. I don't really mean you to eat a live frog, but it is actually a metaphor for your most hardest and challenging task of the day. Imagine this scenario. You get up, and the first thing you do is eating a live frog. I mean, how worse can your day be, right? So tackling your most challenging and hardest task will actually make you feel more motivated and energetic throughout the day. Or doing other things. And sometimes it's okay, you can't eat the frog whole, but even eating a few pieces of frog will actually make your day a lot better. Now, this is all good, right? You're probably like, okay, thank you for this, but the thing is, procrastination isn't a one-time thing, and as a professional ex-procrastinator, I had months and nights, and I just procrastinated, and I get nothing done. And this is actually my second point, burnout. Like I said, you don't actually burn out, but burnout is actually extreme tiredness, whether it be physical or mentally, which is caused by a stress in your brain. And you're like, okay, Naz, but now what is this? Why are you saying all of this? And this is actually a prolonged procrastination, which is where you procrastinate for a long time. Now, unfortunately, it is, again, because of your limbic system and your prefrontal cortex. Now, yes, they are really developed places, but they get tired just like you do. And when they get tired, your efficiency gets lowered, you can't make good decisions, and most importantly, your emotions are all over the place. Now, this is really important. Now, I've been talking about all of this, but I have a quote by the person who actually inspired me to do this. I want to read that quote to you. It goes as, "We have a brain that is selected for preferring immediate reward. Procrastination is the present self saying, I would rather feel good now. So we delay engagement even though it's going to bite us on the butt. And let me tell you, or you already know, but it bites you really hard." Now, I've been talking about all of this stuff, but how do I climb back up, right? Because all of us probably procrastinate, and especially my classmates, we procrastinate a lot. And this is actually the last step of my presentation, motivation. How do I climb back up? How do I get that spark back? Now, the first thing is no, just no. And I mean, by this I mean saying no. You can be like, Naz, this is rude. Saying no, yes, let it come across as rude. Now, we're mostly teenagers and other youth people here, and we have this desire to fit in a society and in a social group, especially in our age. So most of the times, we say yes to things that people want from us so that we can fit in that social circle, even though it's uncomfortable for us. Setting boundaries and knowing your limits and telling people that you have these limits and boundaries are really important because, yes, you might be happy and your friend might treat you just a little bit better for a few days, but in the end, do they really want to be friends with you, or do they actually just want things from you? And this is really important, to set your boundaries. The second thing is, actually, I will procrastinate this because Luana explained motivation really well. I also want to talk about extrinsic and intrinsic motivation, but in the end, my key point is to please keep a balance on both of them because it is really important. If your life consists of more extrinsic motivation, then you're not actually doing something for yourself, but something just to get a result and just for a reward. And if you do too much intrinsic motivation, then you don't have anything, just the things you do, and sometimes this can actually make you a bit more selfish. So please keep in mind to have a balance between these two. So until now, thank you so much for listening to me. And as a final point, sorry for that, as a final point, please know that these are all normal. We all procrastinate, but the most important thing is we have a long life that lies ahead of us. And yes, procrastination might be bad, but in the end, it is just for a few days. And so please fake it till you make it. And sometimes just say no, most importantly. Thank you.